Well, good morning. It's bug season here in Ontario, and they are out with a vengeance. Black fly season. Good morning, Hugh. Black fly season is over, thankfully. But if you have never experienced the sting and burn of no-see-ums, which are tiny little flying, biting flies, you're lucky, because it is like this wicked burning sensation that then turns to itching like a mosquito bite, not as bad as a black fly. And the thing about no-see-ums is that they can get through screen, like regular screen. And if you want to protect yourself from them, you have to get no-see-um netting. And so typically at this time of year, when they come out or when they get really bad, I will retreat to the indoors. So I'll work until, they really start to get me. And so this morning I was enjoying my coffee. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And I kept feeling like this burning on my skin, and they were getting through the screen door that I had open. So it's a tough time of year. So I usually try not to use bug spray if I can help it. But this year I am using some DEET, or I do use DEET. I just put it on my clothes that I wash regularly. So I really try to avoid putting it on my skin because it's really bad for you. Anyways, so today we have a bunch of chores that we have to do. So I'm going to water the garden. First I have to hang up the laundry. Listen to all these ladies and gents. They're just on fire this morning. So I'm going to hang up the laundry. I have to water the garden, and right now I'm just hand watering. We do have most of the irrigation set up, but we haven't fine-tuned it yet, so I'm just going to water by hand. And I like to do that to have a good look at the plants at this time of year. What else? Oh, we are going to burn our diseased trees that we have cut down. So Brian went through with a saw and cut out all of the plant material that has white pine blister rust. And we also collected some of the tops that had snapped out, so we're going to burn those. I have to continue and finish splitting and stacking the firewood for the sugar shed, and then the rest of the firewood that's left in the pile is what we're going to burn next year. And so we have to move that in hopes of building a permanent woodshed this year. So that's our kind of like one project. So lots going on today. And just an update about the chicken fencing that we did. So let's just quickly go down here. So we put on this fencing last weekend, and I put on all these flagging tapes so that the chickens could see it, but also the native birds could see it as well. And it has worked really well. So we have had 0 chickens still all week long. So that is great. And I've taken off all of the covers. It turns out that there are 3 generations of leek moth season. So that means there's 3 life cycles. So they complete their life cycle 3 times. One in late May, one in, I think it was June, and one at the end of July and August or something like that. So essentially, it's hard to manage for them. But I do have some BT, which is Bacillus thuringiensis. It is a bacteria that lives in the soil that has been kind of made or synthesized as a pesticide, and it's specific to lepidopterans. So should the need arise, I might have to use that, but so far I'm not seeing very much damage. I took the covers off right after the first gen would have been active. But who knows? Like, I'm just learning about that pest, and honestly, this year it's pretty kind of low stakes. The garlic looks like it's doing really well. I do have leeks and onions in the garden, which is also concerning because that's a lot of food for pests. But maybe they're not going to be too bad this year. Who knows? All right. Anyways, I'm sunscreened up. I'm bug sprayed up, and got to get to work. So let's first things first. Hanging laundry. job on my list of things to do at the beginning of the summer is to get the compost piles set up. And if you remember way back in the fall when I cleaned out the coop, I filled a bin with kind of the wood chips and the chicken manure, and it was right up to the tippy top. And so I'm going to show you how much that has settled now. And so I'm going to amalgamate all of my compost bins into one at this time of year, and then I'm going to use my compost thermometer and start turning that actively. And so by the end of the summer, definitely I will have some really good compost to be putting onto my garden beds as I close them down for the season. And so it is a little bit of work because you have to monitor it, but if you decide not to and just make a pile, the microbes will do the work themselves also. So I am not, I've said this before, but I'm not super scientific about it. I don't put a lot of time or energy into it because I do know I produce enough organic material that I know I'm always going to have compost. But I do monitor it just for kind of interest's sake and for to speed up the process. So anyway. We are also going to mill some new front covers for the compost because the old ones have just broken down over time, and I put them on there before we had a mill. But now that we have a mill, we're going to make some more reliable front covers to keep all of the animals out, mostly just the dogs. Let me give you an idea of what we're working with here. This beautiful stuff is finished compost. This is rhubarb leaves from this year. This is on the bottom, mostly finished, but with some extra stuff on top. And then this is from last fall, but this was all the way up here. And so over the winter and then spring has basically settled to this. So my plan is to make this bin the compost. And so what I'm going to do is transfer all of these two into here, and then that should be full. But first I'm going to grab, I see some clover and stuff growing in here, so I'm going to weed it a little bit. I'm just going to explain how I normally do this, and I do have a video about building compost, and I'll link it in the description box. But normally when I build a compost pile, I don't have 3 bins that I'm pulling from. I have 1 bin that I transfer back and forth. So really that's what I'm doing today. I'm preparing this for composting. So I'm going to be taking all 3, making 1 that I can turn, and when I turn it, I just move it from bin to bin. And all the turning process does is allow oxygen to get into the pile, mixing those microbes up and allowing them to be redistributed in the pile to continue to break down the organic matter into compost or into finished compost. And so a lot of this is already done, but some of it is just fresh, like this rhubarb. And so yeah, like it's just a process, but I have to do this to get it going. Here's my honey that got attacked by the northern harrier a couple months ago. Life is good. I'm going to continue to work away at this, and I'll bring you back when I'm done because it's taking me forever. Okay, we got her done. She is full. I think that's almost the tallest compost pile I've ever had, but it is going through. The last thing I'm going to do is put in the thermometer, and then I'm going to monitor it for the next couple days, and if it heats up to the point where I have to turn it, then I will. Okay, all done. So if you have organic waste or grow a garden, your compost doesn't have to be this fancy. Just put it in a pile, turn it every once in a while until it breaks down into kind of an unrecognizable form and is not hot. So is at ambient temperature, and then it's ready to use in your garden. Happy gardening season, happy composting. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.